What is up, NASCAR racing fans? This is the HSL Diecast channel, and you're watching the NASCAR NITTRO Series Stock Division at Texas Motor Speedway for the Dallas Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs Suck 400. We got some great racing action going on. We got 7 to 8 cars in every segment. The outside lane is going to be dangerous. And what better to kick it off with two of the biggest stars in the series on the front row in Jimbo Rockford and William. Behind them is Rusty Wallace and Baby Richie. A couple of field fillers, Ross Chastain, Elmo Langley, and Clint Boyer. The first two of them you may recognize from last season. Now it looks like Jimbo Rockford and Rusty Wallace are drafting past William on the inside lane before they even hit the curb. Jimbo Rockford's running away with it. Rusty Wallace and William are neck and neck heading out of the turn. Jimbo Rockford for the Barora Bangers looking really good. Baby Richie gets the nod over the defending champion Ross Chastain, who's most certainly not going to defend his title this year, but is still in the running for best field filler. Has a good shot at winning that. The positions don't actually change except for Elmo Langley losing a spot to Clint Boyer. He really sunk like a rock on that first lap. The car is prone to having rear axle issues, but I don't think that was the cause. Jimbo Rockford takes another car length lead in lap 2 over William. Rusty Wallace in third, Ross Chastain in fourth. They have identical castings, except Rusty Wallace is pack fresh, and Ross Chastain's been out of the box, tossed around who knows where for the last 20, 30 years. And the gates are down. It's the second to last lap, and it's a battle for second place right now because Jimbo Rockford is running away with it. A car length and a half lead when it's still on the split track, and there's nobody catching up. Baby Richie is challenging William for third place, and Jimbo Rockford over Rusty Wallace by over a car length, heading into the final lap. There's definitely been a speed difference between the cars that were prepped and graphited and the cars that weren't, even though all the cars are stock and were not allowed to be drilled. And the literal world champion from last season is the only one of these guys that can do anything to challenge the rest of the pack. William and Jimbo Rockford, they're flying away with this. Everyone else is being left behind in the dust. And it's a tight cluster of cars with the mail-ins on the outside, the field fillers on the inside, and it looks like Baby Richie just nosed past Ross Chastain at the last second for fourth place. Jimbo Rockford, William from Uncle Elvis Racing, and Rusty Wallace make up the top 3 in that segment. And for segment 2, we have 3 great drivers in the front. We have Tristan Racewelski, a veteran of the Lord Shank Racing Series. We have the other McDonald's twin Clyde. And everybody knows the legendary Coffee Tart back from the Sub-4RA days. Riot Isaac is in there for Puffs Racing. A couple of new field fillers, including Robbie Gordon, who just clinched last place with that El Reco on the first lap. Coffee Tart moved up 1 spot. The other 2 field fillers are Mopar Mac McNamara, believe it or not, says his name on the car, just like Lewis M. in Lord Shank Series. If you haven't checked out that channel, please do so. It's some great NASCAR racing as well. And in the 00 is Cole Custer. And it looks like Mopar Mac is challenging Riot Isaac for 4th place. Tristan Racewelski is running away with this, and Coffee Tart picked up another spot through a block to keep Clyde in 3rd place with just 2 laps to go. Tristan Racewelski's had a great race so far. He's moved out to a full car length lead each of these laps so far. Clyde is trying to take over for 2nd place from Coffee Tart, and they are neck and neck. He is pushing Tristan into the turn to get past Coffee Tart, and that is a near miss for Coffee Tart. Almost flips over, but manages to save it at the last second, and is in a good spot for the final lap to at least get into the seconds race and possibly win it if things go wrong for Tristan. And the gates are down, and Tristan gets a good push from his fellow Hot Wheels drivers. He's got a full car length over everybody just as they left the gates, even more so with Coffee Tart and one of the heaviest stocks pushing him. And they are getting more and more spread out, and Mopar Mac, who's done nothing all race, is challenging for 4th place here, and that's an absolute dominating win for Tristan Racewelski. Coffee Tart, Clyde, Mopar Mac make up your top 4. And now for segment number 3, we have Johnson Jr., the all-time wins leader with 2, tied with Ross Chastain and Sterling Marlin. Behind him is Isaac, regular Isaac, Terry Labonte. We got Dale Jarrett there. And then in the 00, we got Sawyer making his debut after missing the Daytona 500. And Sawyer's debut is going to be a really short one because that is an El Reco. Both him and the number 89 car of one of the Sodders, that is his name, one of the Sodders, because it's one of the Sodders, both take themselves out in separate crashes on the first lap here. And Normal Isaac was glued to the bumper of Johnson Jr. that whole lap, they had almost the entire track lead over the rest of the field. We got Terry Labonte back in third now on the inner lane. I know his teammate has a really fast car. Let's see what he can do, and he breezes past Regular Isaac. And they have a great drafting partner with Jeremy Mayfield. He's one of the fastest field fillers in the league. That exact car had a win last year. And this restrictor plate style pack racing at Texas Motor Speedway has made some unpredictable passes. Some underdogs shoot closer to the front. Maybe Jim France can take some notes, repave this track into a super speedway like Atlanta. And Johnson Jr. is off to another great start, has a full car length lead over the rest of the field, and even more than that over the other lane on the drag portion of the track. And he's just pulling away from everybody. Jeremy Mayfield takes over second place on lap 3 and cautions out for another El Reco. That was Nessa Force, Jimbo Rockford's teammate on the Barora Bangers. Her day is done after coming out of the turn. Now it's time for the final lap. We have Jeremy Mayfield on the outside, Johnson Jr. on the inside. Does anybody have anything for Johnson Jr., who comes out of the gates with a full car length lead heading into the turns? Gains on that lead after Jeremy Mayfield almost flips. It's a drag race between Mayfield and Labonte for second place, and it looks like Jeremy Mayfield just got there. And now it's time for segment number 4. On the front row, we have End Count and Morgan Shepherd. Both of them got top 5s in the 500. Second row, we have Rowan in the number 7 Ford Mustang, and Vinny Nightlife, Johnson Jr. and Tristan Racewelski's teammate, in the number 27 Ford Thunderbird. In the back, Lord Shank is hanging around a couple of field fillers. That's Marky Mart and Kyle Larson. And the caution's out again. This time it's Vinny Nightlife. And so far, he has not lived up to his teammates like Tristan and Johnson Jr., who made both main events. First lap wreck for him, just like in the Daytona 500. He'll be near the bottom of the points. He has a long way to go if he wants to catch up with everybody else to try and compete for a title. And the gates are down for lap 2. Rowan gained a few spots. Lord Shank's trying to make a move for 4th place now. He asked me to name one of the field filler cars after him. Why not? He's been a great supporter of this channel. I might make that thing full-time because of the dueling shout-outs. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Some pretty great racing action. Not a lot of action on that lap. Just Lord Shank moving up 1 spot to 4th. Now with 2 to go, the gates are down, and it looks like there's going to be more pack racing. The front row is gaining some separation from the second row, and Rowan is keeping it neck and neck with End Count, the heavy favorite for this segment, and it looks like I spoke a little bit too soon. Rowan's off the track and out of the race. Lord Shank moves up to 3rd. Morgan Shepherd will be starting the final lap on the front row. He'll have 2 pseudo teammates pushing him. I mean, field fillers don't really have teams, but they're both in 96 Monte Carlos. We have an inside row of all Thunderbirds, including 2 T-Bird stockers pushing each other. And so we have a Ford taking a huge lead, 2 more Fords fighting each other for second. And this one looks like it's going to go to End Count. He's got a car length lead over Lord Shank heading over the finish line. And it's a parade of Thunderbirds with Morgan Shepherd getting 3rd before any other car crosses the line. But don't worry, Chevy fans, you got 4 of the fastest Chevys on the track in this segment. Skeeter Davis in the G-Body made himself an early fan favorite in the Daytona 500 with his stunt driving. Richie in the 44, Gator McCluskey in the 91. That car is fast but a little unstable. Real fun to watch. Crazy Ruby in the 72, another G-Body, much like her teammate Coffee Tart's Oldsmobile. And Crazy Ruby picks up a couple spots. Skeeter Davis going to start lap 2 going down the track in reverse. Richie's got a prime position to take second place away. He's getting a push from Alan Kulwicki, who's one of the heaviest field fillers in the group. And Pantoni is just getting destroyed by the inner lane before they even reach the turns where it really matters. And the caution is out. The outer lane turn takes another victim. This time it's Crazy Ruby. This time she lasted 1 more lap than she did in the Daytona 500. Half the segment is done, and so far it has just been Richie and Skeeter Davis not letting anyone pass by, basically securing themselves at least top 10 finishes, as long as they don't go bottoms up in these final 2 laps. And the gates are down for lap 3. Skeeter Davis still going down in reverse. Alan Kulwicki gets a pretty good jump there. Don't know if I'll have enough for Richie, though. We have Gator McCluskey followed behind Pantoni. Battling for 4th place here. Heading out of the turns, Gator McCluskey flips over. Got a little too impatient behind these other cars, and it's going to be yet another horrible points day for him. He's got one of the fastest cars in the series, but it is top heavy, much like the Sterling Marlin car last season. Doing that in the main events on the 3 out of the 4 final races cost him the championship. And this entire segment has been a contest for 2nd place because Skeeter Davis is putting a whooping on this field. He's got a full segment lead before he even gets into the turns. Richie will ease his way into the 2nd race. Pantone, Violet, and Violet violently gets shoved off the track and flips around, lands on her wheels, but she'll be racing in the 6th race after that. That is some tough luck. She was running in 4th or 5th. That is going to cost her some points probably. So now she has to beat these field fillers in the 6th and 7th race. Starting next to Cole Custer, they are neck and neck heading out of the gate and into the split portion of the track. Violet gets a slight lead before heading into the turns. Elmo Langley not too far behind, and caution is out. Massive El Recco at the turn. Looks like some of the cars are buried under the track. Clint Boyer's on his roof. At least one of the cars, possibly 2 of them, are underneath the track right now. Yep, Dale Jarrett and Jeff Fuller drive into the pavement underneath it. We're going to play this in slow motion. It starts off pretty conventionally. Violet gets about a car length lead, but knocks the track loose, and that's enough for Dale Jarrett and Jeff Fuller to plow under it. And the impact causes Clint Boyer to flip over. And Jeff Fuller just pile drives into Dale Jarrett, pushes him further underneath the track. And after all that, the repair crews are finally done with the track. No jet dryers were harmed in the making of this video. Juan Pablo Montoya is not in this race. And we're moving on to the 2nd lap of the 6th and 7th race. And take a look at Cole Custer. He blasts out of the start gate, gets a 2-car length lead before they even hit the bottom of the ramp, and his lead is just growing bigger and bigger. He is running away with this, but it looks like Violet's going to catch up with him in the turns. Violet beats him out by less than a car length to take the 6th and 7th race. What an exciting comeback by Violet. Cole Custer's got to be kicking himself after that one. Now it is time for the 5th race. On the front row, we have our defending champion, Ross Chastain, as well as Riot Isaac. Kenny Schrader and Kyle Larson, 2 dirt racing legends, followed by Violet, the winner of the 6th race. And Riot Isaac has a car length lead heading into the turns. That lead grows over Ross Chastain as they head out of the turns. And Riot Isaac takes a 3-car length lead into the 2nd lap. No positions changed at all, and if he performs the same way as he just did, we could have a train of Puff's teammates in the 4th race. They may be unstoppable there. And the gates are down. It's looking like more of the same. Riot Isaac had some bad luck in his segment, but he's making a statement today, beating the national champion at a track where he won at last year, and he is not making it easy for anybody else to catch him. He wins the 5th race with an even bigger lead than he had on the 1st lap. And now it is time for the 4th race. On the front row, we have Pantone and Regular Isaac, Baby Richie and Mopar Mac, Marky Mart, and Riot Isaac. 3 of the Puffs Racing Team cars in this segment, and yes, I got it right on the first take. It looks like normal Isaac, regular Isaac, whatever you want to call him, just Isaac, is taking the lead over Pantone. Despite using very similar castings and having the inner lane advantage, it looks like Isaac is going to do it, and he'll have his teammates pushing him as Baby Richie ended that lap in 3rd, and Riot Isaac ended in 5th. And this is a dream scenario for anybody to be in this situation in one of these races. He's got not 1 but 2 drafting partners, while Pantone has field fillers. They may leave him out to dry, as these field fillers got to scrap and fight for every inch they can get in this series, going up against the big boys. And poor Pantone does not stand a chance against the Puffs' onslaught. 2 of Puffs' cars are already past him. Make that 3. It's going to be a 1-2-3 finish for Puffs Racing in the 4th race. Regular Isaac moves on to the 3rd race. He's going to have a lot of work cut out for him because we have another set of drafting teammates, both of the Mark Russell cars, and Clyde, one of the McDonald twins in this race, and he'll be starting on the front row. And Clyde is leaving everyone behind in the dust. And right now it's a super tight 5-way battle for 2nd place, while Clyde increases his lead to over 4 car lengths on the 1st lap. And it looks like Texas Terry is going to take it over his teammate. Riot Isaac and Alan Kulwicki each move up 1 as well at the expense of Rusty Wallace. Now the gates are down for lap 2 of the 3rd race. Should be more of the same by Clyde, as long as he doesn't make a mistake. And the Mark Russell teammates are not giving each other anything. The whole field is blocked behind them. They're not letting anybody pass by. Morgan Shepherd gets by Texas Terry, but it's Clyde, and this lap's a lot closer though, we'll be moving on to the seconds race. And on the front row, we have William, who is our Daytona 500 winner alongside Coffee Tart, the crafty veteran with the rookie Richie behind her, as well as two field fillers, Lord Shank and Jeremy Mayfield, although Lord Shank will probably end up being full-time. And finally, Williams' teammate Clyde. And Jeremy Mayfield stay in the seconds race is a short one. That's an El Recco for him, finishing just outside of the top 10, which means these guys here are all locked into the top 10 for this race. We have Richie sandwiched between the two McDonald twins. These two should make a formidable drafting partnership for the American cohort, all three of which are in the inside lane. And they're looking to breeze past the Australians, Coffee Tart and Lord Shank on the outside. And Coffee Tart is really giving it to William despite the extra car, heavy car advantage, but loses her drafting partner and lets William run away for his second trip to the main event. And Jimbo Rockford is kicking it off from the pole here with Tristan next to him, Johnson Jr. and end count. Skeeter Davis is going to start the next lap in last. It's a pretty tight pack in the split portion of the track. Jimbo Rockford's pulling away from him so fast, though, he's almost out of the camera shot. And he's starting to spin around, and caution is out for the big one. We got cars flying all over the place. Looks like Johnson Jr. is the only one to finish the lap. At least 3 DNFs. End count is out. Tristan's out. And Jimbo Rockford had the most violent crash of them all. He barrel rolled the whole length of the fat track past the finish line. Of course, that's not going to count because he's on his roof. He's not even on the track. And nobody hit Jerry Jones's truck to save themselves. And there's Skeeter Davis. It's almost like he knew this was going to happen. He guaranteed himself his first career podium. And boy, is this too good to not show on a replay. You have everybody going down the split track. It's routine. Jimbo's got about a car length lead over the HSL teammates who are side by side heading into the turn. It looks like he turns around to block Tristan, and that causes everybody in that row to bunch up. Tristan and end count don't have any time to react. They both go flying, land on their roofs. William started in the back of that row, beaches himself on the side of the track, plays it safe. Johnson Jr., the experienced veteran, got his last win in the finale last year by squirting through this kind of first lap disaster like a football knocked out of somebody's hands by Zach Bond. And here we can see the track official's van staring at Jimbo Rockford's car as it finally lands. But Tristan got the worst out of that deal, picking up the cars and surveying the wreckage. One of his axles got bent a little bit. It's still drivable, so hopefully he doesn't lose too much speed the rest of the season. And the gates are down for lap number 2. Johnson Jr. has his work cut out for him. William, one of the heaviest castings. And William, the defending Daytona 500 champion, is breathing down his neck. He doesn't have a drafting partner, but he weighs twice as much as Johnson Jr.'s car. And Skeeter Davis tries to make a move for the lead, but Johnson Jr. makes the car 2 lanes wide like John Girard, doesn't lose any speed, and maintains the lead with 2 laps to go. And now it is time for lap number 3. And Skeeter Davis did get by William for second place, and he might have shot his shot a little too early because now Johnson Jr. has another Ford, which also happens to be the heaviest car in the league, pushing him. But they are keeping it tight. This is still anybody's race. One mistake by your competitor is all it takes, but William just punts Johnson Jr. to a larger lead there, gets 2 car lengths by the end of it. And now it is time for the final lap. If anybody has anything for Johnson Jr., this is your time to show it now. Will it be Johnson Jr. looking to etch his name as the sole wins leader? Will it be William looking to be the only driver to win a race this season? Or will it be the fan favorite Skeeter Davis, the king of style points? All 3 of them have fast castings and they're smothered in graphite. William and Johnson Jr. are side by side through the whole split track and the turns. Johnson Jr. throws a block and wins the Dallas Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs Suck 400 at Texas Motor Speedway. And this final lap was so exciting. We're going to show it to you in its entirety in slow motion. As soon as the gate drops, they are not giving each other a single inch. These 2 Fords are bashing and beating into each other, but they're still gaining speed. And as they exit the turns, it is still too close to call, until they get to the very final track segment before the finish line, and Johnson Jr. throws the block. Here is your podium. It's no surprise they were the only survivors of that first lap big one in the main event. You're looking at the who's who of the stock division in the NASCAR Nitro Series this year, as all 3 of them got top 10s in the Daytona 500 as well. Congratulations to the subscriber that commissioned the Johnson Jr. car. You know who you are. Doesn't like to hear his name in public much, but congratulations to you. It's your 3rd time winning. Here are the total results. Johnson Jr. wins, William and Skeeter Davis. Go further down there, we have Lord Shank got his first career top 10. Coffee Tart got her first career top 10 on this channel. A good mix of Americans and Australians. We have Richie. Great race for Richie. Some bad luck after starting on the pole last week, but he gets into the top 10 after a horrible starting spot this time. Here's the back half of the mail-ins, the beginning of the field fillers and the DNFs. We're getting into guys from our 5th and 6th races. Baby Richie redeemed himself quite a bit. And here we have Sawyer, Vinny Nightlife, Crazy Ruby. Some of these drivers have a lot of ground to make up if they want to stay in title contention. Nobody's mathematically eliminated yet. All it takes is the points leader having an El Reco in qualifying and then crashing in the second chance race at the end of qualifying. And here are your points. William is your points leader. Johnson Jr. in second. Then you have Tristan, Jimbo Rockford, N-Count, Skeeter Davis, Morgan Shepherd, Texas Terry, Baby Richie, and Richie. Some more of Uncle Elvis and Puff's cars. We have the cream of the crop here. So far, after 2 out of 12 races, Coffee Tart had a good run. Here we have some fast cars that have had some bad luck in the past. Don't count out Gator McCluskey. I know he's not very high in the points now, but that casting almost won the championship, despite having a DNQ and a first lap DNF among the first 4 races of his season. Nessa Force and Rowan also had some bad luck in the last 2 races. Vinny Nightlife and Crazy Ruby. Last of the drivers that competed in both races, and we have a whole bunch of field fillers here. And Sawyer, the season is far from over. And anything can happen at the 24 laps of Le Mans, which is the next race on the schedule. We will try to have qualifying with our timer again. We'll see how that works. I'll be posting video of it either way, either showing everybody's times or showing everybody that I need to order another one. And that wraps up week 2 of the stock division. Remember to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. See you guys out there on the track.